Look at that. That's not even close to straight. Now, the part that pisses me off about this is that it wasn't even damaged in shipping. They explicitly chose to put it together that way. Like, see, none of the fins are bent. The tank wasn't just, the tank wasn't molded correctly. They're like, oh, fuck it, we'll put it on anyway. What kind of fucking quality is this? This was not the cheapest radiator. It was not the most expensive either. I figured, let's shoot for the middle of the range. Something with some halfway decent fin density. This is bullshit. I mean, look at the mounting here. It's straight here, and it's crooked here. What happens when I go to bolt this in the car? And what choice do I have? Leave the car apart and wait? Send this back and get another one? Oh, it's getting irritating. GTI progress. Thermostat housing's on. Everything buried here. Shed a little light on the situation. So there's the thermostat housing, there's the crossover pipe. I got the blower back on. So we're getting there. I'm going to put the upper intake manifold on. For those who deal with these squeeze style hose clamps, here's a trick. So I have a pair of vice grips opened all the way up. Put some light on this. See, this is what you do when you don't have the tool to do this. So with the vice grips opened up, I hook them around. You can see the ridges are hooked around the edge there and the edge there. Now this is snugged up enough, so if I just turn the rod, you'll notice that it's compressing the clamp. It's tightening the vice grips and it's compressing the clamp. And then you get to that last little bit and then you squeeze. And if you do it just right, where they meet is where the vice grips will final latch. And that gives you...
How tight do you want?
So with the hose clamp nice and tight, you can easily work it over. And you can take a break if you need. It's kind of nice. So with it in the position where you can get at it later, just release. You're done. It's easy. I still hate these hose clamps though. Just saying. There's a difference? See, tighten it like that. Tighten, tighten, tighten. Tighten, tighten, tighten. That looks pretty good. Yeah. Nope, put it back off. I think that was slightly too much. Oh well. Let's see if I can put it on. Oh yeah. Rotate the hose to about where it goes. Excellent. It's easy when there's no radiator in here, huh? Cool. So all of the hoses are hooked back up. That's done. Well, that really blows. If I had a radiator, I could actually see if it holds water. Oh wait, I do. Oh wait, I don't. What happened to pride in craftsmanship and shipping? Maybe it was shipping damage. I don't think it was though. But other people think it is. Too much complaining, right? So I took the throttle body off. I have the vice grips around the stop here, securing it in place. Shouldn't move. The throttle plate held open, and you can see this ridge here. And looking in here, look at this huge restriction. It's an actual hump, see? It comes back in, so we're gonna get rid of this while I'm here. It's just gonna take a couple minutes. All done. There's the hump. Goes up there. I'm not really going to polish this one. Throttle one's polished. But that's pretty good. That's actually going to make plenty of power, I think. The reason why this ridge was here was because for part throttle, it basically made you have to open throttle a little bit wider, so maybe a little bit jumpy at low throttle. I never really noticed that with my Corrado throttle body, so I'm okay with this. I think I'm gonna actually see a little bit of a gain out of that. And the other thing is this right here. I'm just going to let this sit in the parcel washer potentially overnight. But if I pull this out and I tip this up, nice and black. Porch is starting to come clean. So yeah, I figured I'd clean it out, and I noticed something. See the throttle body gasket? Gasket hasn't moved because you can see that the bolt holes are still lined up. Basically what this means is they didn't fixture it in their machine correctly, and the holes got drilled slightly off center. So when the air enters the engine, it's going to ram into this little ledge here. So I'm basically, after I'm done washing this out, I'm going to take the grinder and do the same thing I did to port the throttle body, and I'm just going to hog out this material right in here, so it looks like it's supposed to. That's why it helps. You know, you got to go through piles and piles of cylinder heads and intake manifolds, but that's the stuff that makes all the difference, especially on a cylinder head. You know, they cast it, but how well was the head lined up on the machine when they went to drill the holes for the valves? So everything kind of ends up offset, so you really got to measure and look and see how centered everything is to get the best parts pick, and this one wasn't quite centered. So anyway, this is going to sit. I think I'm just going to leave this for the night, and then we'll handle the radiator clusterfuck tomorrow. So that's where I'm at. So here's our Sharpie mark. You can use the scribe as well. Either way, doesn't matter. So we'll start hogging that out. I might clean up this back side here a little bit too. We'll see what we get. Okay, so I forgot my vlog camera yesterday. I ended up putting the intake manifold and throttle body back on the engine. The radiator is ready to be returned. It's over there. They said they overnighted a new one. It's not here. So I half-assed bolted this back together. Here's the wire harness dangling. Hoping I don't step on it or break anything. I hate like stopping one thing and then starting another. But in this case, that's what I had to do. So, woohoo. First world problem, I guess. So, I'm starting to take the steering rack out. I've got both tie rod ends separated here. The steering linkage is separated inside the passenger compartment, which I actually like because on the Corrado you can't do that, and it's a huge pain in the ass. But they made it really easy on this car, so this I don't think will be too bad. And the other thing is, this is not power steering fluid that's supposed to be in there. Oh, there's some fun looking stuff in there. Pretty sure this was actually 100% clean. Not anymore. Shit. I'm gonna have to find a way to turn the pump out, because that just looks horrid. So that's what I'm left with. And so according to the Bentley, I got 6 bolts. 1, 2, 3, and the opposite side equivalent. And then I lower the subframe down and I can unbolt the steering rack and take it up. Good luck. There it is, pulled out. And that was a pain in the ass. Just how much, you ask? Here's how I got it out. I notice the engine sits a little lower than it usually does. Hopefully I'm not pulling on that too much. No. Cool. Alright. So anyway, let's go down here. There's the subframe. You can see I got that much of a gap there. Got 3 inches here. And what I did was I held the subframe up with 2 jacks. And you undo all 6 bolts and you lower it down. And I found that that wasn't quite enough. So I put this jack with this brick under the exhaust to give me some clearance from the exhaust. And I figured out that wasn't quite enough. So I used a scissor jack to separate the subframe from the car a little bit more while using this jack to push up on the exhaust. That gave me the space I needed. I pushed the whole steering rack assembly this way. I flipped it upside down so the little tower that the U-joint bolts to kind of rolled into this space. And then I rocked this side out first. You have to push the passenger side towards the front, and then you can slide it out the driver's side. And that was with the tie rod ends and everything on it. So that worked out. Now that it's out, I can start to go towards togetherness. But I figured I'd take a moment and show you just how much pain that really was. Here's the scissor jack. It worked out pretty good. So, alright, onwards. So after a year of this sitting in the ceiling, cleaned it out. There wasn't actually that much dust in it at all, but it was still working good. I think I'm going to put a different operating system on it, but I have to make a serial cable for it first, so we'll deal with that. But here it is all cleaned up. Haven't had any problems with it all year. Alright.
Yeah, but he's well behaved.
Hi, Bubba.
Trish, come on.
Hi.
Water feels good, huh?
Come on. Go in the water.
So funny, and he bites the water.
Yes, I'm an asshole for coming over here and ruining your vlog. I'm okay with it.
This is now the second video in a row. I don't care.
What you working on? What you doing?
I'm basically.
Yesterday you did your water pump.
That was the day before.
Okay, the day before.
Or no, maybe that was yesterday.
No, it was yesterday. You sure?
Finished the water pump yesterday.
You're gonna have to go back and watch your own vlog so you can remember.
Yeah.
It was a rebuild.